I was literally about to be like, this is just so much better than Suicide Squad. And I was like, no, it's actually the exact same as Suicide Squad.
Yes,
I think it works better.
No, yeah.
It doesn't feel quite as contrived as Suicide Squad
Sure.
did. There was a lot of because reasons, but it's like in her trying to like get rid of this thing, she ends up creating the problem that she was trying to get rid of.
Yeah, I think the difference with Suicide Squad is that it was, I'm going to use these people because they can't do anything else, and I'm just hoping they kill each other. Whereas, like, Valentina was like, I'm going to make them kill each other, and instead they, like, joined forces. But yeah, I mean, like,
This is a spoiler show. Hello, everybody. I'm Will.
And I'm Kristen.
And this is So I'm Watching This Show, your new favorite pop culture YouTube channel where we talk about movies, TV, music, and more. It's been a minute since we did a movie episode.
Yeah. Well, they've been pretty bad lately.
The movies have been rough.
Yeah.
The last 5 years, it's been kind of hard. And I've actually been thinking about being like, we should maybe pivot back to covering a few more movies, even if they're deep cuts.
Oh, yeah.
Because I kind of miss just like our...
Talking about
I
movies.
love doing the episodic stuff, but it gets so niche and it's such a commitment. You know what I mean?
Especially 20 episode things. Also, before anybody says anything to me, I have seen Sinners and it was delightful. And we are going to go this week.
Oh, yeah.
We thought he had already seen it. So
there was a miscommunication.
Will and I went. And so we're going to go and maybe get Red Robin. And we will report back about Sinners as well.
Oh, yeah.
Red Robin and Sinners?
Yeah. On today's episode, we are going to have a conversation about our thoughts in real time. I think we have a sense of that. I think we both we're talking about Thunderbolts.
Yay!
The wet East Manchester.
We can't stop him alone. No one can. But we can find a way. Together.
Marvel Studios Thunderbolts.
I don't know. It's her little league, her like soccer, pee-wee
like
soccer,
like the West Chester or like West something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pee-wee soccer team.
The girl
Thunderbolts.
The girl pooped on,
and a girl pooped on the field. It was hilarious.
I like that it was a girl.
Yeah. Well, it's a little girl soccer team.
Yeah, but it just
little girls are feral.
I was gonna say the only other time we've seen that is in Megan.
Sure. Yeah.
And it wasn't Megan. It was the little girl that wouldn't wash her hands.
Yeah.
What was her name?
Oh, God, I don't remember.
So, no, we haven't really talked about it, and we've only seen it the once. So it's not like going to be like an Easter egg or like deep dive or like really analyze the plot. We're just going to sort of go point by point and talk about what we thought and the things that we liked. So spoiler show, we're just free-form conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of have like two different metrics. It's sort of like a, did you like it? Did you like it?
Yes.
And then was it good?
I think mostly yes.
Okay. I liked it. I'm having a hard time because it's like I liked it and I want that to be the takeaway, and I want to be positive and want more in this vein. Having said that, I'm probably going to complain about it a lot.
Okay. I'm not going to complain about much.
Really?
I was pretty much from start to finish delighted. I think it's probably... Okay, I do want to say I'm excluding Deadpool and Wolverine from the narrative because that's a whole different... It feels like a different...
I agree with you, but people are not excluding it. Like people...
I'm excluding it from the next thing I'm about to say, which is that this was probably my favorite thing with the least flaws in Phase 5. Because it was Ant-Man, Quantumania, Guardians 3, The Marvels, which I liked but wasn't very good, Deadpool and Wolverine, Captain America 4, and this. And that's Phase 5. And I think, again...
What was the first one?
Quantumania, Ant-Man, Quantumania. That had big problems for me. And so I think this is the thing that I've liked the best in Phase 5. Again, leaving aside Deadpool and Wolverine, which is like its whole own animal. I don't think there's currently right now anyone else in the collective MCU that has a stronger handle on their character than Ryan Reynolds does, except for John Bernthal as Frank Castle. And that's so limited right now, what's actually happening. So... leaving that aside, I think that, this is probably the one that's my favorite.
Mm-hmm. I feel similar. I'm about to say something so loaded. I feel similarly with this, the way that I did about Thor: Love and Thunder. And the thing is, I liked Thor: Love and Thunder. I'm a little baffled by
Its reception.
Yeah. I get some of the talking points, but I think they're overblown. And like, I think people put way too much on the handful of critical things.
Yeah.
But I say that to say I feel about this the way I felt with Love and Thunder, which is when it was over and we came out, I was like, I liked that. In fact, I liked it so much, I would like to see the rest of it.
Sure.
This felt very rushed to me. And I understand the logic behind it because they're floundering and they're trying to get to a place quickly. But I'm sort of like, why did you kick it into high gear at the exact point that I got interested again?
So, I have a couple of responses to that, which is, I think this wouldn't have felt so rushed if they hadn't been floundering for so long and even one of these characters had popped up somewhere else first. You know what I mean?
Besides
because Bucky was in Captain America, but like that movie was so bad.
And also, how do you feel about his senator plotline?
Well, he's a congressman.
Okay.
But fine. But also why? Kind of.
There was something about it where I was like, I don't buy this. And I know that's
I just don't feel like, I was going to say, I don't think he would ever get elected. And honest to God, he would. I'm surprised he's not president. I'm surprised they weren't just like, yes, make the Winter Soldier the president.
He's not like evil and corrupt enough, though, is the problem.
Yeah.
Like, I know that the kind of like the soldier, there is a soldier to politician pipeline.
Sure.
I don't know that includes the Winter Soldier. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
I like the notion of him trying to assimilate into normalcy.
Sure.
And I don't know if you took note of it, but because it was when you went to the bathroom, but they showed his apartment and it was like in DuPont Circle. Like,
I'm like very disappointed. I missed Bucky's apartment. I'm being so sincere. I'm like, I had to pee so bad. I like housed 2 glasses of wine at dinner, and like I'm actually devastated. I missed his apartment.
It might have even been like the same set or whatever. It was like where Steve was in Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
And he was like washing his arm in the dishwasher. And
well, that was in the trailer. So yeah, okay.
But I liked that notion, but he...
Also, Steve absolutely lived in Georgetown, I feel like.
Okay, well, aren't they not?
No.
Okay.
DuPont Circle is more where the politics are.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I like that idea, but it felt split-focused because this movie is very much Black Widow 2. This movie is about Yelena. It's about Yelena and Alexei.
Yeah.
Tertiarily, it's about Yelena, Alexei, and Bucky Barnes, and then it's about the Thunderbolts.
Sure.
But then it's about Valentina, and then it's about the Thunder. It's doing so many things.
And
it's doing a lot of them well.
Well, that's the thing is, like, I feel like given what we have had of all of these characters prior to now, this is the absolute best outcome we could have had trying to rush through to the making of this group of heroes.
Because I wish this was 3 movies.
I wish it was at least 2. And that's the thing is, like, it absolutely didn't need to be if only we had more stuff with them.
Well, and 30% of this movie could have been Brave New World. Valentina and Bucky needed to be in fucking Brave New World. I don't know why they're allergic to synergy right now. Because we have it in this movie, so I can't complain about that.
Also, you missed Bucky's one and only scene.
One scene doesn't count.
No, it doesn't. I'm totally on your side. One scene does not count. And also, that movie was just bad, unfortunately. So...
Our problem, we never did a proper episode about that movie because we really didn't have good things to say.
I didn't want to shit on it.
We didn't want to pile on because I don't think it's Anthony's fault. I don't think he deserves this. No. I think Disney hung him out to dry.
Absolutely.
And he's also, spoiler alert, not in this movie.
Which is also... Well, there's like mention of him at the end, but it's like antagonistically against the Thunderbolts.
And if you're going to do that to him, then he at least needs to be in it. Like, at least let Sam speak for himself.
Sure.
If you're going to do that.
Sure.
And the last thing that I feel like this needed as it is another character or another plot.
Especially not some type of antagonist.
And and when we say antagonist, we mean more in a Civil War type way.
Sure, yeah.
like a disagreement about how to handle the like
Yeah.
politics of it. But and that's what I mean, where I'm like, I did enjoy this. I will say, I think it could have been funnier. I think that the comedy, and this is the part where I'll volunteer this. It's a mistake, but I'll volunteer it anyways. I might just be outgrowing some of this stuff, and that's one of the things I was going to say for Will, is because Will didn't really care for it, and I want to be like, are you just done with this type of
movie
storytelling? Like,
he's been in a movie place.
They're bad right now
for like 5 years.
Disney needs to decide. This is not a hot take, but I fucking mean it. Disney needs to decide if they're making movies or content, because they're trying to do both and they are excelling at neither. This movie feels like it was designed to work well once it's been chopped and disseminated onto social media platforms. Sure. All of the scenes are digestible and they can handle the transition to vertical and like, and I'm not trying to fight the natural order of things. I understand, like, it's one of the places that I get wrapped up in my frustration with Disney, because it's such an institution, and in many ways Disney is very hallowed ground. We talk about it religiously, and it's like, Walt Disney was an innovator. He charged at whatever was new and now and next, and so it's like, I don't want to fight the natural order of art and storytelling and all that, but I do not think the balance is right, and I think that we culturally need to decide, like, I think there needs to be a difference between art and commerce.
I totally agree with you completely. I do see what you mean about this movie. And again, I keep coming back to, it just kind of we needed more build up to this, because it's like, we had build up to like so many other characters, you know, even if it was just like a post-credit scene. It's like, we haven't even seen any single one of these people in a post-credit scene since their last actual movie or show. And that's like really dumb. And then also we 100% completely dispatch a character that I didn't give a shit about at all. But then, like, why is Olga credited in this movie?
I mean, there was a red shirt in Suicide Squad as well. I can't remember his name.
Sure. But wasn't it Jai Courtney?
No, he was in that movie. He was the red shirt in the second one.
Yeah.
It was like Trick Shot or Rough Shot or something like that, because they just hanged him once they got to the city. I was offended when they just shot Taskmaster straight in the head after like 30 seconds, but it was in a not Taskmaster. Well, and then once I realized I didn't give a shit, I was sort of like, good riddance. But I would just rather not have had her.
No, for sure. And also, like, kind of that whole scene, I was like, well, she's gonna get up any minute, right? Like, what in her powers allows her to get up any minute?
It was kind of insult to injury, because that character was botched. Like, I don't think they did that character justice in any way, shape, or form.
What was she even from?
Black Widow.
Right.
Which this is essentially Black Widow too, and I get why they didn't name it that, and I get why they didn't do that.
Yeah.
And I will say that I think that this movie works almost, entirely on Florence Pugh's willpower,
Absolutely.
like force of will, and David Harbour. Yeah. Sebastian Stan is good in it, but there is a slight, and then there's Bucky. He's in the movie.
He is, but it's like, because he is a congressman, he's sort of separated from them at first, but then it's like Mel, who is Valentina's like assistant, is like contacting him and kind of playing both sides. So she can, like,
they maybe have a spark, but who knows? And we know the way that like the Captain America themed movies treats their female love interests. I'm still mad about Sharon Carter, and I know she didn't work in Falcon and Winter Soldier, but to me that's not her fault. That was the writer's fault. Yeah. And so the fact that they're just like, just kidding, she's gone, never to be spoken of again, kind of pisses me off.
Yeah, I'm like, you can't just
retcon it. Just pretend you didn't do that.
You can't just make this actually super just, like, patriotic character into an
She
arms
was-
dealer in Macau and not explain yourself.
She's such the moral compass in both Winter Soldier and Civil War.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm really butthurt about it. And this is also a extremely female heavy movie. So it's like, I don't think it needed more female characters, let alone ones that they've already proven they can't
handle.
I kind of cut you off. Were you done with what you were saying about Bucky and Mel?
Yeah, I just like, because you were like, he's in the movie, but it's like
he is in it.
He's not like in the mix until he has to go and like help them.
And he only has like one, maybe two action scenes. And like, because there was a point where he like shows up on the motorcycle, and I literally was like, my nipples are so hard right now. And it was cool, but then it was like, oh, we're done.
Yeah.
Because we're done with that
he
section
like,
that they need to clip and put on YouTube.
Yeah, he like did the car thing.
With his arm.
Well, yeah, he stopped the like truck or whatever from hitting someone, and then he had the car door like a shield, but I'm also like, okay, we've seen him do that before.
Just like remember in Civil War when he took the motorcycle and did that flip around thing?
I do remember that.
And I screamed.
So,
and also Sebastian, like he looks a certain way. Like he looks a little bit more grizzled than I think he should. And that sounds mean or like a complaint, and it's not exactly.
I wish that a lot of the properties weren't what they are. You know what I mean? Because like I really wish there was no villain in Falcon and Winter Soldier.
And it was just about the
Bucky and Sam and their relationship, and like
so maybe
we can
that
even
one
do
should have been the procedural.
We can even do the Sharon thing, and we can still have Daniel Bruhl in the mix and stuff like that. But it's
he was good though.
But that's the thing is like I didn't need this whole like organization about the people that blipped and came back. Like that's the kind of stuff that's really. I don't think they're not landing a lot of the stuff properly. And like, I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot, but then I keep remembering that Trevor and I go on these like tangents when we're talking about Buffy.
Well, so, I mean, we've been in kind of, because of the pandemic and then the writer's strike, we've been in this weird place of stasis for like 5 years where it's like, it's a very one step forward, two steps back. So we're having the same conversation over and over again a lot.
I'll tell you what, though, the next time it's been going around. People are like, these shows don't take 3 years, like in between. That's like fucking stupid. 3 years in between. And I'm like, you literally can't say that for anything that came out before the last 2 years. Everything got bumped by like 6 months from the strike. Wednesday would have come out last year. Mm-hmm. You know, Severance would have come out last year. All this
Yellow
stuff
Jackets, White Lotus.
Last year. Everything would have come out last year. Fucking nut up. Is this your first writer's strike? Baby's first writer's strike? Kiss my ass.
A tornado hit Wisteria Lane, and I had to wait for 18 months.
Also, the Los Angeles fires were insane, and things are still recovering. Just, like, get off your fucking high horse.
Well, that's another thing I was going to say, and we said this a lot, especially with Brave New World. It is a factor here for me, less so for two reasons. It's really hard, in my opinion, to do a political thriller in this climate.
Yeah.
So much of it feels hollow and quaint.
Yeah.
Like
if Valentina is getting a Senate hearing, an impeachment hearing in the Senate. Yeah, right.
I like Valentina. I like the idea of her.
Yeah.
I like part of the execution of her. But again, it felt speed run.
Yeah.
It felt like 3 projects worth of character development for her in this one project.
No, 100%, because we literally,
Who is she?
I don't know.
Is she like Secretary of State
or something? I actually,
because the fact that they were talking about an impeachment, and then she very clearly has the Tulsi Gabbard hair. So it's like, is she meant to be?
Well, she's a Contessa, apparently.
I remember that part.
Yeah.
De Fontaine.
Yeah.
I love the idea of an anti-Nick Fury.
Sure.
Of like a mirror version of Nick Fury. I wish we didn't just know she was evil.
Director of the CIA.
I wish we didn't just know she was evil. I mean, I think anyone who's been to a movie before would suspect, but it just opens up with her impeachment hearings.
Well, so it opens up with her impeachment hearings, and then it's like what you said, where it's like we needed more stuff to build up to this. she's being impeached because of this program she's apparently been running that we've never heard of before that's trying to make more super people. But it's not the serum. It's not like the Stephen Bucky serum.
Super soldier.
Yeah, and John. And so it's like a different thing that they're trying to do, but it's been a failure. There's been nothing but dead people, and so she is basically shredding all the documents when we like open up, so that she there's no evidence for her to be impeached. It's like a no body, no crime situation. And that is just, you're right. It's like, I would have been way more interested to see like in other properties the kind of buildup of that, but we've had not like where are the post-credit scenes of that? You know, the post-credit scenes of her like amongst like in a lab amongst a bunch of dead bodies going, well shit, that didn't work, you know?
Well, because we've had like 3 post-credit scenes of her approaching the hero of, or like,
I think we just had one.
Well, there's the one in Black Widow where she approaches Yelena,
Yeah.
and like recruits her, and then she's in.
This said Falcon and Winter Soldier, but I don't remember her
she is
from
in
that.
the scene from Falcon and Winter Soldier. So is it just those 2? I don't know. Like I said, I felt like it was 3 different properties worth of plot for her.
Black Panther, I guess. Wakanda Forever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was a little bit terrified that they were just going to like arrest her.
Yeah.
And we were just going to be done with her until she has a scene in an Avengers movie, one scene.
Yeah.
And I'm relieved that didn't happen. And also the way in which she kind of like I love it. It's very Sarah Newland. I love especially a female villain who doesn't get what they deserve.
Yeah. Well, and she also just like, she's like stumbling upwards somehow. Like she really like failed her way to the top.
I kind of love
in
that
this scenario.
And I think that Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who I actually love Julia Louis-Dreyfus, I've given her a hard time because I think at least one of her Emmys belonged to Amy Poehler. But she
at least one
is phenomenal at what she does, and I think she did a good job. I think she was largely plugged in. I mean, she might have had like 1 foot.
No, but I mean, I think she's doing this for the money, obviously, and then also, but she is good enough that she's carrying it off passably, in my opinion.
And the scene with her and Florence Pugh at the very end, where the press conference is there and they quite literally stumble through into this opportunity, and the way that she announces them as the new Avengers, and Florence is like, I've got my eye on you. That worked for me.
No, she literally said, we own you now. Which I was like, yeah, amazing.
That worked for me. And I want to keep Valentina manageable, at least for a little while. And again, I would feel better about that if I knew we weren't sprinting straight to Doomsday in an attempt to course correct. Because I saw a post, and I agree with it completely, where it's like there's 2 post-credit scenes. One's a gag. The second one's of consequence. It's of merit. And I'm like, where's that movie?
Yeah.
Like,
that's
that either needed to be the 3rd act of this movie. Like, we needed a time jump within this movie. Or this needed to be 2 movies.
Sure.
Black Widow 2 and then Thunderbolts. And Anthony Mackie needed to be fucking in it.
Because that's the thing too, is like Sam knew Natasha, so like we could just really like pull in all the people who knew Natasha in a way, and it's just like, I don't know, I'm still butthurt about that.
I know you are. That's a huge talking point for a lot of people. And it's one of those, I feel that way, the way that I kind of feel about Styles and Lydia and Teen Wolf, where it's like, I'm prepared to surrender. And I feel like I muddied the waters bringing up Teen Wolf, but it's like, the fandom thinks Natasha wasn't treated properly or didn't get her proper due. And I agree. However, I do think that suits the characterization of Natasha.
Sure. I think, though,
we do this.
No, but like right now on this day, May 3rd, 2025, my issue is now they're not even allowing Jeremy Renner to continue being in this franchise because they're refusing to pay him. So, like,
I think that will get resolved.
I mean, I fucking hope so.
And I think because he kind of went public with it, as I think he should.
100%.
And I think that was a business issue. I don't think that was a creative issue. And I think by going public with it, it's going to force their hands. And we need to take a couple of fucking points out of the business column. They've got way too much power,
Yeah.
way too much control. We need to start making creative decisions again.
I'm still willing to take over for David Zaslav if anybody has an in at Warner Brothers. Let's try to talk about the rest of the characters before we're like already pretty in the weeds with like meta shit. Because I liked Louis Pullman a lot.
Yeah.
I thought he was great as Bob.
Yeah. I liked what was there.
Yeah.
I think there could have been more.
I think there will be more of him. And like he's the only part of this movie that I was like, that's okay that you are this right now, because I think we're gonna keep him around. Where it's like, even like Ghost, I was like, you're just cool, you're good now, you're fine.
I think
now.
she was served the best by this movie.
I do agree with that, but it is sort of like the last time I saw you, you were a straight up villain, girl. Like, what is happening?
No, I'm
like very tortured.
I think she was served the best by this. I think that because they even say in the movie that she's the only one with a power in a group full of punchers and kickers.
Yep.
And I
guess Bucky is like, but he's
a super soldier.
So he is punching and kicking, but he does have like enhanced. I guess John Walker does have the same thing. I
like that Sentry just took his arm.
That was mean.
Yeah, and
I mean, he got it back.
No, I know, but it's like the Dora Milaje did it, which is their right, frankly. But
well, they gave it to him.
I know. But I'm like, I don't like this precedent that we're setting that you can just like
rip
take
Bucky's
his arm
off,
and then I don't know. I don't like it.
Well, because they also had like a little keyed in, like she did like a little keyed in thing.
5-finger death punch.
Yeah, and it seemed like he just was like yoink.
Yeah, where's Ao? Get her.
I don't want to talk about it.
And again, it's like they are a little bit. There's too many, considering that there's not a female fucking lead in this franchise, the MCU.
Yeah.
There's too many half-developed female characters. Yeah. I'm like, you need to gut like a quarter, if not more, and then you need to develop the rest.
Yeah.
And I think that they lucked what they thought was going to be Brie Larson and Captain Marvel. And I'm a moderate fan of Captain Marvel, but I think what they were expecting from her, they got with Florence Pugh. And I'm like, stick with it.
Yeah.
Pay her whatever she wants.
Yeah.
Pull a Jennifer Lawrence and be like, we'll write the checks as long as you're willing to do this.
Yeah.
Because I think that Yelena held this movie together.
100%.
Like, completely. I wish the guinea pig was more of a through line.
Yeah.
Because she rescues the guinea pig in the beginning, and I kept wanting him to be like Rapunzel, like Pascal.
I saw a little art piece this morning that had it on.
Find a way to super soldier that guinea pig.
Yeah. So I will say, I liked the through line of the depression. I liked that it was working.
I liked it too.
It was like working for Yelena. It was working for Alexei. It was kind of like all of them sort of were.
Because even Bucky, that's what I mean. Where I'm like, we need.
He doesn't understand his purpose,
and he wants to. And I'm like, I need a movie or Disney Plus show about that.
Yeah.
And they did enough where it's like they showed their work.
But yeah, basically all of them are working through some sort of depression because John's wife kicked him out. Bucky is at a crossroads and kind of a loose ends. It doesn't know what's going on. Yelena has kind of lost everybody. And I don't really know like why. I guess Ghost wasn't really like depressed or anything. So we also didn't see anything in her mind. But then,
that's true.
And Alexei is estranged from Yelena and is running like a really
very
pretty
sad,
crappy limo.
That somehow the chief deputy director of the CIA was using.
Well, no. Well, sort of. I think he said he like somehow weaseled into driving her car.
Okay.
But then when he came to save them in the desert, it was his limo.
It was a good enough reveal that I let it just go.
Yeah.
But. And
so then basically Louis Pullman's character, Bob, is the only successful experiment from Valentina's whole thing that she was trying to do. But really all it did was kind of like manifest his own depression because he came from an abusive family and now he's all alone. And I don't know, it really worked for me because apparently when he touches people, it sends them into like a negative memory.
She was good with him. I feel like a fucking broken record. I just needed more.
Yeah.
Like I almost wish that maybe it went. I was gonna say I almost wish he maybe had mommy issues, and they leaned more into that. But he was already kind of giving me Homelander vibes.
Yeah, we don't need that. Like,
if Anthony Starr's Homelander wasn't so good,
yeah.
then I would be like, yeah, Marvel, do this. But it's like,
you can't. It's gonna always be a shadow version of it.
did you like Sentry?
I did. I mean, I did and I didn't. It's apparently he's like very, very overpowered. Which I assumed because he was just like dusting people out of existence. I think, okay.
Well, that was Void. That's, I guess, something different.
Sure.
Sentry was the yellow suit.
The golden, yeah. Then I guess I don't know where one sort of became.
I was under the impression they were two separate characters that they merged, but they might not be. I'm not like a comic. I have a passing familiarity with the comics, but I'm not like an expert in that regard.
Because the Void was really cool. It was cool to look at, and it was really spooky. The eyes were really good. Really spooky.
And it worked for me. The like disappearing people.
Yeah.
Although they really held our hands with the little girl.
No, they did. But I do think Chris Bauer might be dead.
What happened to him?
He took him from the helicopter, but then he also took the pilot, so the helicopter went down, and so if he reappears, would it not just be in the sky? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was nice to see him, though, Chris Bauer. That was fun. But
he used a little bit more. Broken record.
Of course, yeah. But yeah, so I kind of liked that. I also thought John Walker was served well enough by this movie.
I think Wyatt Russell is very charming and very appealing, and I wish that they leaned a little bit more into that.
Well, so
I wish he was a little bit more likable.
Yeah, well, I do
because they've got the unlikable part on lock.
Well, that's the thing is, I do feel like he's coming kind of out of that because they make a crack where it's like, yeah, until you literally murdered an innocent man on live television, and he's just like, okay, like I get it.
One time,
yeah, and he
go postal,
but also he's been kicked out from his family too, so it's like I do think we're gonna be working on hopefully on an upward trajectory with him. That would be great.
It just he had a slight chip on his shoulder quality where I was like, your actions are more than enough to make you unlikable. We don't need you to also have a bad attitude.
Yeah, and that's what I think he's working out of. Yeah.
I think he needs to be a little bit more, and I think Wyatt's capable of it.
Absolutely.
But he needs to be a little bit more charming because he's a little bit too Chad right now.
Yeah.
And he needs to be a little bit more. And I agree with you. I think that they're...
Not just Chad. He has to be Chad Radwell.
Kind of. I mean, kind of.
Yeah.
A little bit more Glenn Powell. Yeah. There was something I was going to say. I don't remember, but I will jump to one of my points. I also think that like the third act set piece was a little weak. I think it needed more actual action. It needed to be more kinetic because it was a lot of them walking into different rooms and talking.
Yeah.
And the thing is, they even, because with Bob/Sentry/Void, he can like touch you and put you into like a depressive state. And they even established with Yelena where she fell out of the forest, where she like killed one of her friends or like facilitated the death of one of her friends. And she falls out of it onto a table in like a boardroom. And it's very MC Escher with how she did it.
Yep.
And then they just didn't do that again.
Yeah.
And I was like, if they were like Inception running up the walls or it was like kaleidoscopic, I think that could have given
a little bit extra.
A little bit
I get
more
that. I
of
get
like,
that for sure.
And I'm only so annoyed by it as I'm like, it's a precedent you set that you then didn't.
Yeah. I completely agree. With that. But in general, I did really like it where it's basically like when Sentry got like sad enough, essentially, he turned into Void and then started disappearing all the people. But when Yelena was in her like nightmarescape, she was able to see him in his own nightmarescape where he was like hiding in the attic. The Cell. Sort of like the Cell, yeah. So he was hiding in the attic listening to his family fighting.
His abusive family. Downstairs.
Which was like his memory, but he was hiding away from it. And so they were able to run through and like you said, where it could have been cooler, but it was like they were able to like run through and kind of escape. And it really was the friends we made along the way that saved the day. And I just kind of love that. I thought it was great.
I think my issue or my fear, because again, I started this conversation by saying that I did like it. I think my fear is that it's going to be immediately taken away from us.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's like, so then why why are we even doing this? Like, if it, we used to say back, and we weren't doing a podcast or a YouTube show, unfortunately, but we used to say all the time that when the MCU started, I was like, it's wild that Marvel figured out that if it's in their own best interest to make a quality product, they can do it.
Yeah.
Like, they knew that we wouldn't go to the next movie unless we liked the movie we had. Like, who cares if tomorrow's dinner's good if today's sucks? And
egg is all over our face because we have still been to see every fucking thing in the theater.
Well, because they gave us 19 courses that worked. But it just, and again, like I said, in their defense, there's a handful of things that they were going through on a corporate level that either weren't their fault or were out of their hands. And they are trying to correct from that. But again, my fear here is that their desire to course correct as quickly as possible is going to end up snuffing out a much needed flame. That has caught. It's like, you got it, now nurture it. Don't bowl past it in search of a bigger flame.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm afraid that's what they're gonna do. I'm afraid that we're just gonna go to Fantastic Four and they're gonna be like, aren't you happy? And I'm like, I mean, you just endeared me
to all these characters.
Yeah. To like a new team, and now I have to be in like.
That's the thing that annoyed me the most about this, is that the post-credit scene is just like the Fantastic Four ship. And I was like, that's coming out in 2 months.
Yeah, people like cheered in the audience, and I was like, we know. That, like,
there's trailers out for it. There was a poster in the lobby of the movie theater. I just found out they're doing emergency last minute reshoots.
It was good while it lasted.
Yeah. So we'll see. Yeah. But largely, I thought this movie was great, and that's the thing too. Is like I've been trying largely to judge these individually lately and not as part of a larger whole, because none of them have been part of a larger whole. And so as a movie on its own, I kind of liked it. Do I wish there was more synergy? Yes. Do I wish we had seen a handful of these characters anytime before or between their last one? 100% absolutely. But I think given what they had and what they were given, they did as good a job as we could have expected.
I will say, I also do think that largely through Florence Pugh, but that Black Widow's presence was felt.
Sure.
So much so that I was wondering if we were going to see her.
Like in a memory.
Or like a fantasy or something. We don't. I think that's fine. I'm fine with putting her to rest for a little bit until they inevitably cart her out for Avengers cameo. Yeah. That means nothing.
Yeah,
but
of course, just a different universe, Natasha. Yeah.
Maybe it'll be like in Magicians when Alice has all her fingers cut off. Something that might work. I mean,
or when they bring the other Penny.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't know.
They can't just bring Natasha back. Yeah. It would have to be we've got the multiverse. It's a different universe, Natasha, no matter what.
But I was saying I don't want her back permanently.
No.
Like, let's let Florence Pugh do this for at least 4 or 5.
Yeah.
I liked Mel.
I love Geraldine.
Do you know her from something?
She was in Miracle Workers. All the scenes in Miracle Workers.
Okay.
And that movie Blockers.
Okay.
Yeah.
I could do with more of her and or giving her
let her be Bucky's assistant.
Yeah, or like trust her to deliver some blows. I was a little afraid Valentina was going to do something to her.
Yeah, me too, a little.
It didn't happen.
Yeah. I have actually one humongous bone to pick, which is the thing I've been saying in the last handful of Marvel things we've been doing. Where the fuck is Pepper?
Yeah.
How was the Avengers Tower just foreclosed on? Or whatever. Like, Valentina bought that building.
I needed that explained. And I don't... And that was one of my favorite parts, because I did think a lot of this looked like a TV show. Mm-hmm. Not all of it. Because when they were in the Avengers Tower, it started looking like the center of gravity dropped, and it started looking cinematic again. Yeah. And I liked the fight there, but no, you're right. It was begging for me more questions about the
state of like
So-
Stark Industries.
Yeah.
Like, what
And,
is
like-
happening?
and like the political landscape and
Because it's like, okay, I can feel somebody being like, well, Tony's dead. And I'm like, yeah, Tony's dead. Stark Industries is a multi-billion-dollar global corporation. It doesn't just stop fucking existing.
well, that's the last thing. I can't actually make this a ding on the movie or the franchise because it's something that I put into existence. But I really was like, Disney, Sam Rockwell and Leslie Bibb are having a spectacular like encore right now. Like, you could do something really cool by bringing back Justin Hammer and Christine Everhart, because I was like, we need villains that we can understand, and I think we need human villains that are not just stomping around, magic.
Yeah.
Like, we need people, we need machinations.
Well,
and I could just see, because I've been saying this, where I was like, you could Megyn Kelly code Christine Everhart, and you could have Justin Hammer on her fucking podcast talking about how he's like infiltrated, because there's not a president right now. Or, I mean, they made some comment about the Red Hulk. I couldn't be bothered to remember how that actually, like, what came of any of that.
Well, he's in the prison now.
Right, yeah. So who's running the country? And I'm like,
who was the vice president?
That doesn't matter.
Whoever that was.
I feel like the last thing Marvel could handle right now is ripping plot lines from the headlines. But also, why not? I just do something.
Yeah.
And again, I trust Sam Rockwell's ability to come in and be just an absolute chud.
Yeah.
Just make us hate him and let him think he's in control, but Valentina's like puppeting him or something.
He's already been a puppet mastered president. He was George Bush and W.
And I'm just like, I'm like, Marvel, I'm begging you. I'm giving you free.
Don't sell it for free. Fucking milk them for all it's worth. No, I completely agree.
That's what I wanted.
I completely agree.
As always, David Harbour's great.
I mean, yeah, he's always great. I love him. Also, he has almost never looked better than he does in the press he's doing right now. I mean, holy shit. Am I right?
You have a Stranger Things problem.
I do have a Stranger Things problem.
Because you've always liked it, but it feels like in these last 3 years.
Yeah, well, I got really into the fan fiction.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's all working. I'll tell you what, though, I always loved season 3. Hopper is my favorite when he's wearing that Hawaiian shirt, that pink shirt the whole time. Oh my god. Yeah,
I think I'm fine with it. It's just it's funny to me.
It's just like the 3 dudes and Maya Hawke.
Sounds like a party to me. That's how I like it.
That's where I'm at right now. And Winona Ryder, obviously.
So those were our immediate thoughts. We reserve the right to change and evolve our opinions. I would love for this
to have been the turning point
to matter.
Yeah.
And for them to think, wait. Let's slow down.
Yeah.
Let's actually.
They are slowed down technically because this, I believe, at least this or Fantastic, something was meant to come out last year.
Thunderbolts are in Doomsday.
Yeah.
Like Wyatt Russell got a chair in the release. So prove me right or wrong or impress me. Just do it. Fuck around and do something cool.
Oh god, that would be amazing.
So,
because also Daredevil was kind of like medium, except for the scenes with Frank Castle.
Okay, bye.
Right, bye.
Pullman.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like Bill Pullman.
Yeah. Okay.
He looks just like his dad.
Yeah. It's kind of this is mean because I like
Bill
Huey.
Oh, Jack Quaid.
But his father's more handsome.
Well, sure. I mean, Bill Pullman in the 90s.
Is more handsome.
Though.
Yeah, I was like but they're charming enough. Yeah. If you're charming, you can be second best.
Well, I think Dennis Quaid is hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. He's hotter than Bill Pullman. But Bill Pullman in the 90s...
No, but I'm saying that both of them are not as attractive as their dads.
No, correct, yeah. Those stinking mom genes that came... Although Meg Ryan is Jack Quaid's mom.
Yeah.
So...
Well, remember in American Horror Story.
Yeah.
Jessica Lange, she talks about like how her husband was so beautiful too, and all their children were cursed.
Yeah,
because it was like too much.
I think Jack White's cute.
I think he's cute, and like I said, he's charming. Yeah. He's so charming that it works.
Well, also Louis Pullman, it was the one from
Louis Pullman looked like Bob. He looked like a guy who was like
Bob.
put through the ringer, but with the right love, like very Beauty and the Beast.
Sure,
like.
But he's the one from Bad Times at El Royale. He's the bellhop.
Yes,
yeah.
I knew I had seen him before.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's go. We didn't. Goodbye again.